Welcome back. Now, the Prime Minister returns to India today at a time when two of his senior-most leaders, P. Chidambaram and Pranab Mukherjee, are reportedly at loggerheads after a report emerged which indicates that Mr. Chidambaram could have stopped the 2G scam had he put his foot down. The Prime Minister, who celebrated his 79th birthday on board his aircraft as he returned from New York, will have to deal with the situation which the opposition clearly is cashing in on. In fact, Sonia Gandhi, the Congress president, is now actively involved in handling the crisis and met both leaders independently yesterday. Now, Pranab Mukherjee is also expected to meet the Prime Minister. In fact, with regard to that very same issue, the Prime Minister, on returning from the United States, is addressing the media right now. Let's go across to New Delhi.
Reflected only in the media. I am not aware of any such drift. We are a cohesive government. We shall remain a cohesive government. So let there be no confusion on that score. There is no dissension in the cabinet. Having said that, let me say that in all cabinets, when we debate with an open mind, and issues, ministers can have a different perspective. That does not, I think, contribute to the divisiveness. That's in a way healthy. But there is nothing of that sort which is being written for the last few days in the media about the differences between Mr. Chidambaram and Mr. Mukherjee.
The opposition is levelling the charge of personal culpability, and the one instance that they're referring to is the terms of reference of the EGOM in the 2G matter. So the question that's being put to you is about a letter that was written by then Telecom Minister NDTV-HINDU-NEWS. Initially, spectrum pricing was part of the EGOM terms of reference. The Telecom Minister wrote a letter to you asking for that to be removed, and you then amended the terms of reference of the EGOM. Can you explain, sir, why was the terms of reference amended?
Well, that was way back in 2006. At that time, licensing of what took place in 2007, 2008 was not on the horizon. The real concern of the government at that point was that we should persuade the Defence Ministry to vacate spectrum, and that spectrum should be made available to the civilian economy, and in the process we would make a lot of money, and also the economy would gain efficiency. And it is certainly true that one draft that was prepared did include spectrum prices, and Mr. Dayal Maran did object, and he said spectrum pricing is a bread and butter and an integral part of the rules of business of his department. And in any case, he said a large group like the minister that we were setting up is not going to be able to deal effectively with the complicated technical aspects involved. And furthermore, it was pointed out to me that there was a cabinet decision of 2003 which said that spectrum prices is a matter which should be discussed between the Finance Ministry and the Telecom Ministry. And in the light of all that, I came to the conclusion that my agreeing with Mr. Maran's point of view would not amount to sacrifice of anything which is essential and integral to the success of the process.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Ashish from Star News. So my question is, what is your assessment of what is government's stand on the note in the controversy, sir, which was sent from the Finance Ministry to the PMO, do you sense any sense of culpability, any element of culpability of the Home Minister, sir, or you give him clean chit? And I again put the same question to you, sir. Did the Home Minister offer to resign or not, sir?
Let me say that what particular note you are talking about, I have read about that, and this note is designed to set out a record of what took place. All these matters now are in the public domain. They are being looked into by the courts, and therefore it would not be appropriate for me to comment one way or the other what is good or what is bad in these notes. They are the properties of the public. They are now being discussed in the courts, and as far as Mr. Chidambaram is concerned, I have said it while on my journey to New York that he continued to enjoy my full confidence. When he was finance minister, he continues to enjoy my full confidence as home minister, and that applies to him, that applies to Mr. Mukherjee.
Thank you.
Sir, this is Jayanto Ghoshal, Anandabazar Patrika. My question is, sir, 20 years back, you were the main architect of economic liberalization in our country. After 20 years, now when we were reading and we were listening your UN speech, we found that we have gotten critical appraisal on the process of globalization. My question is that as an economist Prime Minister, have you changed your earlier position philosophically? You have become more socialist now.
Well, the focus at press conference now shifting to 20 years of liberalization.
Well, that's of course the latest visuals that we got. You were from on board the Prime Minister's aircraft as he makes his way back, in fact, to New Delhi. Of course, making there some very, very sharp comments there, the Prime Minister. He said that a number of different opinions have been expressed, and this was obviously in the context of the Finance Ministry note that is now out in the open, that is now out in the public domain, that in a way indicates that the more could have been done by the then Finance Minister, that's Mr. P. Chidambaram. The Prime Minister went on to add that there are different opinions and that the expression of different opinions does not qualify as divisiveness. In fact, he expressed his confidence that expressions of such different opinions is in fact a healthy trend that needs to be encouraged. As far as the culpability of the Home Minister is concerned, he also went on to add that all the matters now are in public domain. He also expressed that the matters is now being looked into by the High Court, and hence he is not in an appropriate position to comment. But importantly, he reiterated his earlier remark that the Home Minister, that's Mr. P. Chidambaram, continues to enjoy the full support and the full confidence of Mr. Manmohan Singh, our Prime Minister. So again, sharp comments, those sentiments being coming in from, of course, the Prime Minister at this point from on board his aircraft as he makes his way back to New Delhi. Well, moving ahead now, staying with that 2G case as it unfolds, the Finance Ministry's note on P. Chidambaram's actions during the telecom scam came up in the Joint Parliamentary Committee, or the JPC, that's studying the scam. Now, members of opposition asked why this note had not been submitted or mentioned in the past and demanded that Finance Ministry's officials be summoned. Now, members of Parliament from the BSP and the BJP accused the government of deliberately keeping them in the dark. Now, proceedings of the JPC resumed only after Chairman of the JPC, that's Mr. Pete Charco from the Congress, said that Finance Secretary will be summoned tomorrow.
You may have this picture of an internal rift between the two ministers, which the chairperson of the UPA may sort out. But the people of this country want to understand answers and want to get the answers for these three questions. How could you sell in 2007, in 2001 prices, and 2003 cabinet decision has not been followed? With all these questions remaining unanswered, we have made it more than obvious several times that it is high time the Prime Minister removed Mr. Chidambaram from the cabinet.
Well, up on the other side now, tennis ace Saina is clean bowled by the Habi Shoaib Malik. We'll tell you more about it on the other side.